Hello everyone, welcome to the sewing process of this tutorial. So in case you're just joining us, this is the second part of this video. We have the part one where we draft skirt. So this is the sewing process. If you want to check out how we actually draft to arrive at this point, please check the description box or the comment section. The link to part one will be there. So let's get into the sewing process. So this is it for the whole piece. Okay, so I already interface it with this interfacing. So use whatever you have available to interface it. So this is it for the center front. Please check. Okay, make sure you watch carefully. This is the center front too, and then this is the side front one. Okay, this is the side front one, and then this is the side front two. So we are going to set the back piece aside. So I'm starting with the center front. Remember, I have two pieces each, one for the lining and then one as the main piece. So I'm going to be joining center front one to the center front two, to center front one. Remember, center front one, we cut it on fold. Okay, remember we cut out on fold. So the center front two is going to be two piece. So you can see me pinning it down. So I'll do the same thing, four piece, so I'll pin the other one to this side. Okay, so just as you can see now, I'm going to pin it down. Okay, so this is it for the center front too. Okay, just as you can see. So I'll do the same thing with my lining. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing with my lining, center front two to center front two on both sides, just as you can see now. So whatever you are doing for the main piece, also repeat the same thing with your lining. So hope that makes sense. So I'm going to set my pattern paper aside. This is it. And then I'm going to bring in the side front one. Okay, please check very well, check my labeling. This side front one. So I'm going to join it to center front two. Just as you can see, I'm going to pin it down, right side facing the right side, and then just pin down. Please watch carefully and be very careful at this point so that you won't have issue. So this is it. So I'm going to join the other side. Okay, remember, like I said, it's for four piece. Whatever you are doing to this side, you are doing it to the other side. So I'm also going to pin down. Okay, so what I just pinned now is side front one. Okay, so this is it. And then what I'm going to do next, this is it now. So what I'm going to do next is to bring in side front two. Okay, you can see me taking my pin off. So I'm just going to pin down. You can see how I place it, right side facing the right side. So the longer side is telling you that that's the side you are going to join to side front one. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing to this side, right side facing the right side. The longer side is the side we are joining to side front one. So I hope that makes sense. So this is it now. So do the same thing to your lining. Actually, you are repeating the same thing. So all I'm going to do is to sew each of the point by half inch, and then I'll bring it back. Don't forget to repeat the same thing on your lining. So welcome back. This is it for this front piece. Okay, so this is it for the main piece, and then this is it for the lining. So I'm going to set it aside, just as you can see now. So we are going to set it aside. So remember, I actually told us about the mistake we made when we were cutting out in part one. So as you can see, this is center back one, and then the other one is center back two. So I added zipper allowance to center back one instead of center back two. So I'm going to correct that. So the only mistake is adding zipper allowance to center back one instead of center back two. So all you need to do is to watch what I'm going to do now. So for the center back one, I'm just going to remove the extra 1 inch allowance I added as my zipper allowance. It's not supposed to be there. Okay, so according to how we label, if you actually corrected it, because I made reference to it in part one, if you corrected it, no problem, you don't need to do it again. So you can see what I'm doing now. This is center back one. I'm going to remove the 1 inch I added. So instead, I'm going to just mark out half inch. So hope this makes sense. So you can see that I'm marking out half inch. Okay, because I'm trying to remove the 1 inch I added as my zipper allowance, because it's not supposed to be on center back one, is supposed to be on center back two. So you can see what I'm doing to this side. I'm also going to remove half inch. So that is what I'm going to do to the whole piece. Okay, the whole center back one piece, I'm going to do the same thing to the whole piece. So you don't need to be confused. The only reason we are doing this is because the 1 inch we added to this center back one as a zipper allowance is supposed to be on the center back too. Okay, so just as you can see now, I've corrected this one, so I will use this to correct the whole center back one piece. Okay, so it's just for me to place it on it and then cut off the excesses. So hope this makes sense. Hope this is not confusing. If you are confused at any point, remember you can always ask question in the comment section. So this is it now. So I already corrected it. Okay, so the one we corrected is center back one, so we just removed the 1 inch we added as our zipper allowance because it's not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be on center back two. So hope this is not confusing. So this is it. So now this is center back two. This is the point we were supposed to add the zipper allowance. So I'm going to discard this 4 piece so that I can add my zipper allowance. Okay, so just as you can see now, I'm going to cut out another piece. Okay, so just cut out, if you corrected it in part 1, you don't need to, because I already made reference to it in part 1. Okay, I just want to correct it here. I want to correct it here so that in case people that were lost, so that I'll be able to carry everybody along. But if you know you were able to correct it in part 1, no need for all this. So this is the center back two. As you can see now, I'm adding my 1 inch, so I'm going to add my normal allowance, okay, at the top, which is 0.5 inch. You can see what I'm doing, and then at this point I'm going to add ½ inch. So you can see I already added the 1 inch here because this is the right place it's supposed to be according to how we label. If you go back to where we label, you notice that this is actually the center back two, and then this is where our zipper allowance is supposed to be. So that is what I just corrected. So I'm going to cut out now, and then I will interface it, and then I'll bring it back so that will show us how we are going to join the back piece. Okay, remember you are cutting 2 for the lining, 2 as the main piece. So hope that makes sense. It's still the same thing that we have been doing. So I'm going to cut out another piece for the lining. Okay, so this one I'm cutting now is going to serve as the lining. I'm still going to interface it, and then I'll bring it back. So this is it. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to be joining. So we are going to be joining. So this is center back two, so place it in opposite direction. Okay, so hope you understand what I mean by opposite direction. You can see what I'm doing. Okay, remember the back side is going to be both sides. Okay, so I'm going to bring the center back two. Watch carefully. Center back one, sorry. I'm going to bring in center back one, and then I'm going to also place it right side facing the right side on this side. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing to this other side. Okay, so when you're done, just go ahead and carefully pin down. So please, whatever you are doing, when you are done arranging, when you are done placing the main piece, make sure you still leave your pattern on the lining, so that when you want to join the lining, you will not find it difficult. At least the pattern will serve as guide. Okay, so I'm just going to pin each of these pieces down. So this is it. Okay, so this is it for center back one and center back two. So now you are going to bring in side back. Okay, so bring in the side back one. Okay, so bring in side back one, and then you are also going to place it right side facing the right side. Please watch how I am placing it. Okay, so place it right side facing the right side, and then pin down. Okay, so you can see the whole thing I actually have on my pattern. When I was interfacing, I also label it on the back, at the back, so that it won't be confusing. So I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. As you can see, side back one, I'm also going to place it like this, right side facing the right side, and then pin down. Okay, so if you label, you are just going to join accordingly, so you won't have issue. So the next thing we are going to do now is to add side back 2. Okay, so this is what we'll have. Okay, we have center back 1, center back 2, and side back 1. So now we are adding side back 2. So what we are going to do also is to join side back 2 to side back 1. Okay, and then pin down. Just carefully pin down, as you can see me do. It's very easy to join so long as your pattern is in place. When you're done pinning down, take the other piece. This is it. Take the other piece, side back 2 also, and then you're also going to join it right side facing the right side, and then pin down. So you are going to do the same thing with the lining. Okay, just like we joined the main piece, join your lining the same way. So remember, however we actually join the main piece is how we are going to join the lining. Okay, so this is it for the back piece, this is it for this side also. So just go ahead and then join each of the points we pin down by half inch. Just join each of the point by half inch and iron out. Okay, remember you are going to do the same thing with the lining. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll bring it back. This is it after joining, just as you can see. So this is it for the back piece, and then this is it for the main piece, and then this is it for the lining. So set it aside, bring in the front piece. So what you're going to do, you're going to join the back now, right side facing the right side, other side. Just go ahead and then pin down. Okay, so just as you can see me do, pin down. Please make sure you align it very well. Okay, try to align it very well. In case you have any differences, you can trim, but when you are trimming, be careful. So do the same thing to this side, also pin down side by side. Okay, just as you can see me do now, also go ahead and then pin down. So when you're done, just as you can see now, I don't know, I'm just trying to align this very well. Please try to make sure you align it, okay, so that you have a nice finished look. So I'm going to do the same thing with the lining. So I'm going to do the same thing with the lining, and then we are going to join by 1 inch. So remember that when we were actually joining side seam allowance, we actually used 1.5 inch, but now we are going to sew with 1 inch. So why we are doing this is because we actually, remember, we didn't replace any of the dart intake. So by doing this, we are going to have like 2 inches extra allowance at the waistline. I don't know if that makes sense. So sew by 1 inch, don't sew more than 1 inch. I know we added 1.5 inch, but we are going to sew by 1 inch so that we can actually add a little ease. The half inch will add ease to our waistline a little, so that it will not be too tight. So hope this makes sense. So this is it after joining by 1 inch. Okay, so I already joined by 1 inch. So what we are going to do now, between the two pieces, you are going to choose the one you are going to use as the lining. So that is the point you are adding, that's the one you are adding your ridgeline bone to. So to each of the darts we created, you are going to sew your ridgeline bone on it, or sewable boning, however you know it as. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that. Remember to leave out your allowance at the top and then at the down. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll bring it back. So guys, this is it. Okay, so this is it after sewing. So I already added my ridgeline bone, so you can see that I didn't add it to the side. So it's only the points we created our darts that I added it to. So I also added back cover. So hope we all know how to create back cover. So this back cover, I actually top stitch it on the right side of the lining. Okay, so your back cover should not be more than 3 inches width or 3.5, and then sew it at the side. So this will help us to cinch the waistline before adding our zipper. So what we are going to do next now is to sew your lining and your main piece. Okay, so sew it wrong side facing the wrong side. You can see what I'm doing. It should be wrong side facing the wrong side. So you are going to go ahead and then top stitch it around, and then bring in your main piece, place it right side facing the right side. You can see what I'm doing. Okay, and then bring in the other side. Then you're also going to place the right side facing the right side. So join at the shoulder by 1/2 inch, and then at the side by 1 inch. Do the same thing here. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll bring the whole piece back. So this is it after joining. Just as you can see, this is it. Please ignore my damn piece. At this point, I was actually yet to iron. So this is it. So what you're going to do, bring in the upper piece. As you can see, I already turned my neckline with bias. I actually use bias to turn my neckline. So what you're going to do, place it right side facing the right side and then pin down. Make sure it's aligned side by side, okay? The side of the corset should align with the side of the upper piece. Please make sure it's aligned at the side. Okay, so just as you can see me do now, I'm going to pin down at the middle part, the center point. I'm going to pin it down. Okay, so I will also do the same thing to the side. Okay, you can see me trying to make sure I align it. Okay, so if you need to shaping the upper piece a bit to actually fit so that it will align, you can as well do that. Just make sure the whole point align. So the back doesn't matter. If you have excess at the back, you can as well trim off. It doesn't matter, so you can trim off if you have excess at the back. So you can see what I'm doing now. I actually have excess. You can see that I have excess at the back, so I'm going to trim that off. So when you're done, just go ahead and then join by 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that and then bring it back. So just join by 1/2 inch. So guys, this is it after sewing, just as you can see. So this is it, and then I already turned my neckline. So this is it. So what we're going to do, what I have left, remember like I said that I'm working with 4 yards. So what I have left, I just made a ruffle with it. I make gathers with it, so that is what I'm going to join at the down. So for the length I'm working with is 32 inches length. So everything I have left from my 4 yards is what I'm going to join to the down. So this is it after doing that. Okay, so this is it. I already made my ruffle and then I already hemmed it down, just as you can see. So my zipper, please ignore my zipper. Okay, remember like I said, whenever you are making anything cinch dress, make sure to use original zipper. So this was the only color of original zipper I have available, though I later changed it. So as at the time of making this video, this was the only color of original zipper I have. So please do well to work with original zipper, SBS to be precise. Please also make sure your zip is long enough so that it will fit. So this is the back. I really didn't show it at the beginning of the video because of my zipper color. So you can see I already cinch the back with the back cover before actually zipping up. So this will help us put it in place. Thank you so much for watching.